Welcome to part 4. We'll now continue our journey from Roughton Road to Cromer. The line now heads roughly west, passing over Hall Road via bridge number 322, followed by passing beneath the A148 via bridge number 320. This is bridge number 322 over Hall Road. Parking was limited here, so I have to use good old Google. This is a segmental masonry 3-arch type, and this is the south side. Cromer is to the left. And this is the north side. Further along, we find bridge number 320 beneath the A148. This is another segmental masonry type. This is the Munsley side of the bridge. These are such fine-looking structures even after over 100 years of use. And now we are looking at the line back towards our previous location at Hall Road. As I said, this is number 320, still stamped on the parapet. And this is the Cromer side of the same bridge. And now we are looking towards Newstead Lane Junction, our next point of call. The line, now still heading northwest, passes beneath Newstead Lane via the bridge number 319, shown here. This is looking back to where we've just been. And as we pan round, this is a segmental masonry similar to bridges we've seen before, and that's the embankment, and Newstead Lane Junction would have been just the other side there. This is the other side of the bridge. This is the west side, and you can see bridge 320 where we've just been in the distance there. And as I was taking this shot, I heard a familiar sound in the distance, and all will be revealed in a few seconds. It's actually the railhead treatment train on its way to Cromer, with 2 vintage Class 37s in charge. After this bridge came Newstead Lane Junction, where there was a cord round to the left to join the old Midland and Great Northern line from Cromer to Sheringham. Our line now curves 180 degrees to the right to join the same Midland and Great Northern line into Cromer Beach via Runton East Junction, thus forming a triangle. Now in this modern aerial shot, you can see the curve of our line quite clearly there, but the cord that ran between our line and the Midland and Great Northern line from Sheringham has virtually disappeared. There's just some trees on the old alignment there. But there are a couple of viaducts round that corner, and we're going to have a look at them in a minute. Firstly, here's an old picture of Runton West Junction. That Class 31 is coming from Cromer towards Sheringham, and the old line from Newstead Lane Junction, which has now disappeared, is on the right, coming in on the right-hand side there. And the signalman is just about to give the single line token to the driver of the train on its way to Sheringham. But before we go to Cromer Beach, there are a couple of viaducts of interest which cross I think it was then called Felbridge Road. It's now Greens Lane. The one nearest carried the now redundant line from Newstead Lane Junction to Runton West Junction, and the one behind it carries carried then and carries now the old line from Cromer to Sheringham. This is an old picture. Now let's have a look at what they look like now. And this is those viaducts now, taken from roughly the same place as the old picture. This is number 317, a masonry arch viaduct. This used to carry the old line from Newstead Lane Junction to Runton West Junction. Not now used. And this is a segmental masonry viaduct, 314. This carries the existing Cromer to Sheringham line. This was widened in 1905. You can see the join there as well. After just over half a mile, the line enters the terminal station of Cromer Beach. This station, opened in 1887, formed the end of the Midland and Great Northern Joint line from Melton Constable via Holt, and was located in a far more convenient position for the town and beach than the Great Eastern Railway station at Cromer High. Today it's a shadow of its former self, but in its heyday it boasted a fine station building, a single 675-foot or 200-metre long platform with a 300-foot or 92-metre bay platform. There were also sidings, a goods shed, cattle pens, plus an engine shed and even a turntable, all apart from the cattle pens on the north side of the station. A canopy covered some of the platform and track. There was also a tall water tower and an equally tall Eastern and Midlands type signal box, replaced in 1920 by a Marriott type. And you can see from this side-by-side map how most of the goods yard, etc., has all been completely obliterated by Morrison's store and car park. Now this is the station buildings now. I think they're a nightclub, or were a nightclub. Fine old building, deserves to be treated much better than this. And you can see in the spandrel of the canopy support the cast letters of the Midland and Great Northern. Yes, I don't know if it's still a nightclub. And here's the back. This would have been, the line would have continued through up to where we are and the platform, and coming out from the back of that building would have been a canopy over the platform and track. And this is another view of the back of the station where the canopy would have been. As I said, it's a really fine building. And this would have been, as we pan round, this is the store, would have been the yard area. And now we're looking down the platforms. There were the bay platform would have been on the left. And this is the signal box. This is a Marriott concrete block and brick with a Welsh slate roof. I believe it is open to the public sometimes. And then we're looking away towards Runton East Junction, where the line splits to Sheringham and round to Roughton Junction. And now again, this is where the yard would have been. We're looking back towards the buffer stops now. The noise is the railhead treatment train there. Again, looking back towards the buffer stops and the station building. Shadow of its former self, unfortunately. Now there were some houses built for the staff, and these are those houses in Central Road. they would have backed on to the yard. And this is another view of Central Road. And they would have been looking over all the yard and station and engine shed, etc. This is the back of them. And this is just another view now from the road of the whole area with the station in the distance there. This station is now served by Greater Anglia trains from Norwich via North Walsham and Gunton, and there's also the service to and from Sheringham. Before we leave Cromer, let's just look at its other station, Cromer High. This station was opened in 1877 by the East Norfolk Railway, but unfortunately, as you can see from this old map, it was a pretty inconvenient location. Perched high on the lip of the escarpment at the edge of the Cromer to Holt moraine, pity the poor holiday maker who on arriving found themselves out in the countryside facing a long walk down a hill in order to reach the town and beach. And it remained like this for another 10 years before the beach station was opened by the Midland and Great Northern Joint Railway, as we have seen. And it was not until 1906 that the Great Eastern Railway had access to the more convenient Cromer Beach. But Cromer High soldiered on until 1954, when it was finally closed. This map and pictures show the station in its early years, but it did end up as quite a large station before it closed, with several platform faces, large station buildings, a water tower, engine shed, a single road engine shed, and a turntable, sidings and goods shed. As I said, Cromer High closed in 1954. This was the station not long after closure. And in this next view we see the site of the station completely cleared and some new houses in the background. If we look at an aerial map now, that's the site outlined. Half of it is still derelict and the other top half has been built on. And we'll go where that arrow is, which shows the location of these buildings which are built on the old alignment. We are now looking towards Cromer High, and Station Road is just where that arrow's pointing. And this is Station Road. This are the abutments of the bridge that carried the line into the station on the left. And this is again Station Road. That's looking towards the embankment on which was the station. Here are just some close-ups of those two abutments. The only reminder that there was ever a railway line here. We do have some of the old embankment on which the station was built, and we're looking towards the station in that direction. So that concludes our look at the old Norfolk and Suffolk Joint line from North Walsham to Cromer Beach via Munsley. And it also shows how that old railway has shaped the modern railway in the Cromer area. Well, I hope you enjoyed this, and thanks for watching.